when you are getting a land from government, president will give you this list. It's an agreement between the people of Zambia and you as an individual. We are the people who are beaten in the bush. Corporate. We go there, make noise with people. We make sure that these people are well compensated if there's need. I would like to welcome everybody to this corporate presentation. I would like to tell you that we are a department that looks in legal issues and communicating everywhere for the company. Our core function of the department is litigation. We have conveyancing, conflict management, land liaisoning and acquisition, and dealing with disciplinary issues. On top of that, we have even the community that surrounds us. We help them in several issues. To begin with, I'll start with corporate part. Under corporate part, we have weights, which I think they are listed here. We have legal consent, we have mediation, we have injunction, we have judgment, we have litigations, a deed of gift, deed of assignment, lease. This lease at times is called tenants agreement. Same thing. Then under corporate, mostly words we have donor and the donee. Although there's an E missing here. It's written as donee. I'll explain briefly each word so that I think we move together. The first word is legal consent. A legal consent is always entered when, for example, we have a dispute, two of us. We are differing on something, whether land or anything, business transaction. There are two parties involved, three actually. There's a plaintiff, a defendant, and the judge, or the magistrate, or a court justice. All these presides over this. So we can sit, agree, to say, no, this matter, we don't want to go into trial and other things. Then we'll sit, agree. This consent, once we agree, I'll sign, the other party signs. Then the judge endorses the signature as well, meaning that case is closed. We have solved. Either we pay each other or we agree to go away without paying each other. The second word is a mediation. Mediation is done on several levels. You can use a mediator, you can use a arbitrator. There are so many ways of doing mediation. This is just simply a way of agreeing again. But the difference between a consent and this one, consent you can do it outside on your own. But here you involve a third person who will stand between you fighting, where you involve, like, for example, a mediator. This mediator will come in between, you speak your mind, you speak. The principle of this is a win-win situation. You lose something, I will lose something. We share. The third thing is an injunction. This is an order which we should be very worried about as a business entity. When somebody is entering on NFCA land, for example, we don't want this person to do anything on that land. When we rush to court, we apply for this order. So when you get this order, there are just three things that you need to know. One is there a dispute? That's what the judge looks at. Is there a dispute? That if I give this injunction, I don't give this injunction, this dispute will continue. Two, the other one is about prospect of loss. Do you have a good case or damages? If this person goes ahead and damages your land, how do you recover? So this order is given to keep a status quo such that no one has an upper hand compared to the other. The status should remain. If there's a house, that house remains as it is. If there are tenants, it remains like that. Then we have a judgment. This is an order. It comes always through trial or hearing. You appear in court before the judge, give your side of stories, both of you. From there, the judge will make a judgment. That judgment is an order of the court. Either one wins or another one loses. This is a judgment. Also, it comes from court mostly. Then litigation is the process. When you want to achieve all these through courts, the process to start these is called litigation. Suing someone or before the tribunal, that is litigation. It's just a process. Then we come to a deed of gift. But a deed of gift is just a document that is prepared. For example, I've got Mr. Greg. I want to give him my laptop. I'll do this document. Using this deed, you are not allowed to pay anything like tax. You are not, because there's no money changed hands in this one. But there are rules to this. There are people to give this gift. It's only your brother, your wife. You cannot give a gift to your father. According to Zambian law, you cannot. Your father should give you a gift. That's a law. But deed of assignment, this one comes with a lot of costs. For example, when you buy land from someone, you do a sale agreement, you go to land, they'll give you a consent. This consent, it works on a lot of areas. So give you that consent, at the end of the day, you will have to make the assignment. This assignment, it will allow you to pay tax for changing of ownership and other things that are involved. If you want to pay tax, you want to change whatever, this is a deed of assignment. This only comes from a business transaction, mostly. Then we have a lease agreement. A lease agreement is a tenancy. For example, I have land which I want to lease to someone, or a house, or a car, anything of value. That's what we use to do. This lease comes in. A lease agreement, you lease it to your tenant. The same word is used in a certificate of title as well. When you are getting a land from government, president will give you this lease. It's an agreement between the people of Zambia and you as an individual. Now you can't sign with anybody. You sign only with the this is given in the name of the president. If, for example, it's about buying land, you buy land, always the only custodian of land is the president. So this lease also works the same way, but different functions. One is by tenants. The other word here we can put here is tenants agreement. So tenants agreement and the lease are a brother and a sister. There is no difference so much. They are a family. You can use either this word or this word. When you are doing a deed of gift, this one, you are giving someone. Like we do. We give as corporate schools, we have built schools, which we will see, and other things. We are the donors as NFCA. We donate through our department, which is corporate. We build schools and other things. So NFCA can be called a donor. A donee is someone who receives. That one who is receiving, maybe a community, those are donees. Then we come to our 11th word, that's a plaintiff. This is a person who takes another person to court, who sues, is called a plaintiff. Then the person or applicant, there are two things here now. If you are using an originating summons, they are called an applicant. You can only apply. But when you are suing as a writ of summons, you are called a plaintiff. A petition, originating summons, they are called applicant. A plaintiff can only come in a writ summons. Then there's a defendant. Defendant is the person who has been sued by someone. A respondent, also same. But the only difference, this can be only used when there's a writ of summons. The plaintiff and the defendant. The applicant and the respondent are always found when you sue using the originating summons or a petition. We come to this one. This is called a convict. A convict is someone, because according to Zambian law, when you are arrested, you are innocent until proven guilty. So when you are arrested, there's a word we use, you are just a convict, an accused person. Then when you go through all the processes of court, which you will see, I will explain inside, the document is there. When you go now through all the process of court, you are arrested, for example, you found with a case to answer, you will now be called a convict. You are a prisoner now. Plea is just a legal admission anyway. It's nothing else more. It's just when you go to court, there's a process. For example, if you are arrested by police or RATSA, they caught you on the road. They'll ask you, do you agree that when you are caught, you did this case? It's either yes or no. These are the words, mostly few, but there are many others, words in legal issues that we use under corporate. But these are the few that I just selected to highlight so that our discussion, to kick go our discussions. Now we will go to the main issue that we need to discuss. I already explained the issue of what the core business that we do. The core business I explained. Now I'm coming to a litigation in detail now. types of litigation. One is civil, the other one is criminal. I'll start with criminal. How do you start a criminal case? I've been injured. There are so many ways, but to pick few, there are only 4, which we are using mostly in Zambia. One, it is by reporting to police, you report to DEC, anti-corruption, or the court. You report the case through these 4 channels. So when you report to court, I picked a police one because looking at time, the way of going by police, because if we go all the details, it will be difficult. These are the people involved in when you are starting your matter. As I mentioned, there's police, arrests, Drug Enforcement Commission, anti-corruption. Those are the people responsible for criminals. When you have a matter, you report your matter to police. Police will arrest a person, the inquiries will start, then investigations will go on, then they arrest, or there's no case, then they leave. Same as process with the Drug Enforcement Commission, same with anti-corruption. Civil jurisdictions involves 2 or more. One of it is how you start the matter. There are just about 3 courts in Zambia where you can start your matter from: local court, magistrate, and the high court. Under these 3, now there's another one actually. Sorry I missed one. There's one court, which is constitutional court. There are matters that you start in a constitutional court, local court, and magistrate or high court. But high court, it is a court with unlimited jurisdiction. What I mean by that, it can receive any matter. Human rights involves anything. High court is a center of whatever you do. You go at the high court. Example I gave you is high court, because NFCA, we don't go to local court mostly. At least the police go to magistrate court. But our mine police, yes, there are cases that goes to magistrate court, but in business circles, we only deal with high court. At the high court, we have the main one are 3 ways of starting the matter, depending with what you want. For example, if you are doing, you want to claim someone has stolen your money from the company, or you are doing a business transaction, there's a problem. We always start by writ of summons. This writ of summons, you apply to court, there are documents. It's a long, long process as well altogether. I think Mr. Greg understands it very well. It's a very, very complex issue. This is a matter where you need to produce evidence there. This you call witnesses. What? There are a lot there. Then the other way is by judicial review. This judicial review is a decision. For example, if Mr. Greg fires me, I'm not happy. He makes a decision, or Mr. Lu charges me, no, you are a wrong man. Then I'm not happy. I go to high court. I'll go and apply using judicial review. This judicial review, it is a thing that challenges a decision of an institution or a person. But the writ of summons is open. You can go anything you want, you can start with. But that one is specifically to deal with, maybe like we deal with mines, for example. Minister of Mines makes a wrong decision. You cannot go and start with a summons. That decision has to be challenged using a judicial review. Then the other way is summons. These summons, for example, I want to get, like I mentioned, an order of injunction. I want to get it quickly, because it's a shorter way of getting this order. It's an urgency thing. I will just do a summons. I apply, maybe this summons can come, I want an injunction, or maybe someone has stolen a vehicle from the company. Want to stop it. How do we stop that vehicle? There are orders that accompany this summons. Just to stop this vehicle, I don't want it to go. Or order of attachment. We say, no, this person, if we left this vehicle with him, it will go. It will be damaged. So we get that order. We can use this one. Another way, which is, I didn't just add, is originating summons. Also, originating summons just by affidavit. You don't need to call any witness in your matter. It's just an affidavit. I speak in the office, we sign, we file, the judge will look at our evidence. Then they give an order or he refuses. Then another way is a petition. This petition, always comes with, like in Zambia mostly, we understand by elections when we lose or have a human right concern. Abuse. For example, someone was infringing on my rights. I cannot start with a writ of summons. I will always start with the petition. Then that is just a tip on how we start a matter in Zambian court, in anything. Then the next thing that I felt will be important to us is how to acquire land in Zambia. Because there are rules how we acquire land in Zambia. And we have 3 ways or institutions that are supposed to land. We have what we call state land. This state land is a land that has value, in other words. It's a land that comes, for example, from the Commission of Lands. Commission of Lands can give you, council, or by resettlement. This land, when you get it, you can sell it or transfer it to another person. Then we have what is called customary land. Customary land is land that we get through chiefs, village admins. This land, by definition, by law, it has no value, monetary value. If I died today, I cannot sell that land. I can only leave it to my relatives. Even if I sold, if the chief wants to chase us, whether we have built mansions, he has a right to chase us. Whether you get a title in a customary land, it's a land that has no value. So here, that's where we have problems. You find you as brothers who have come with to invest, this you take very much recognizance of this. Because you may go to a chief, he gives you land, you think, no, this land is mine. Then the other chief, who that chief gave you dies, another chief comes. You say, no, we don't want you here, get out. You say, no, I have papers. It doesn't apply in customary land. But in state land, you are entitled. You have an entitlement, you can sell, you can transfer. That's why you use that word, the lease. You can sell. You have no problem. You can do with it whatever you want. But in customary, there are rules. So that's what I explained here. Just a few things that I'm explaining. Then when you are applying through Commission of Land, there's no need of you making any form of application. Like you just write a letter to the Minister of Land, to the commissioner. The commissioner, if there's land that you've seen, will give you this land. But when they give you this land, there are documents that comes, like a letter of offer. They will offer you that land temporarily. Then you follow the assignment, the consents, what I was explaining there, until you reach the lease and title. That is under the commissioner. But the council one has got issues. Council in Zambia is not entitled to allocate any land to any person. They work on agency for the Ministry of Land. Okay? They just help the commissioner to give land. Council have no land, so to say, in Zambia. They only work on behalf of the Commission of Land or the president, in other words. So when they have got process which is very long, and that's why you find a lot of problems with council land. When you get land from council, you have what complicated issues, because they will give you an offer letter, which is just temporal. When you get a offer letter here, you have to move to the commissioner. Minister of Land, you apply. Then they'll give you an official offer letter. But if you don't do this within that period, most letters for council, they would write there, you make follow-ups within 18 months. Most councils in Zambia, by law, within 18 months, there must be some movements, both development, you build something and you get papers, something of value. Then, this is what I was explaining here, stages, how you follow when you have gotten land from council, there are minutes, there's PWD meeting, although it's C, but it's D. Then, with these documents, then you go to Minister of Land, you apply. Then there's what we call resettlements. Resettlement, like our NFCA has land, Winumsakashi, where there's that dam. That is a resettlement area. There we get through the office of the Vice President under disaster management. That's where you get this land from. That's where we get through that land. So under that service, it is only mostly affected persons. For example, there's a disaster. Then the government will identify a land where we want to move this. Oh, people like miners in Mufurila, at a point they were given land, those Mopani mine retirees were given land. You give them farms. That is under a resettlement. This land is very good and okay to buy. Although the only problem is you only transfer the titles, because they are not given title mostly. They are just given land records. So you have to follow their procedure on how to change ownership to this land. But buying or whatever, there's no problem. Then the other thing now, that's when you come to what I've explained on a traditional land. Traditional land has no value. When you buy it as owner's risk, don't say, no, Mr. Greek, I've bought this land. I'll give it for my brother who will come after me. There's nothing like that in a customer land. Then corporate affairs does another thing that is very important to this system. We have compliance certificates, different types of compliance certificates. That's where my colleague there, she falls now. Where she goes, you go to ZRA, we have a lot. Like we have listed a few here. But these are not only what we do mostly. There are other things that we do here. For any business to continue running in Zambia, you should register with the Zambia Development Agency, which is called ZDA. This is a development business company program that you do. You have to renew all the certificates that we have, whether mining, fire. There are so many certificates that we renew. So corporate does a lot in terms of this. We do the annual returns, we do all what we have listed here. Registration of PACRA, certificate of incorporation renewal, all these things, we do them under corporate. So for you, if you have a company, if you don't have any of these, then you are inviting those guys to come. The regulators will come on you. Because when you don't have it, there are many. Like I was saying, there's NAPSA, there's a lot of certificates. But we just listed a few because of this time we have. It's not so that enough to do everything. Then we have the purpose. Why should we have this corporate affairs? Because we cannot just come up with this branch used. Our purpose is we deal with, we are intermediate between the community and the company. For example, we have had a lot of problems of encroachments. We had people who were living just across here. I think there were people here. You see the pictures down there and other things are there, we'll show you. There were a lot of people here. But corporate came in, talked to these people. That's what we mean by community liaisoning. We are a forefront. We are the people who are beaten in the bush. Corporate. We go there, make noise with people. We make sure that these people are well compensated if there's need. If there's no need, we just agree with them, they move our way. Then we build whatever is here. So even building of this community here today, I think corporate played a very big role. So corporate does all these are activities as listed there. We identify, for example, the vulnerable people in the community. We identify a school, like, for example, the school we are just launching in Kalulushi. You see the picture, our Deputy CEO, Mr. Lu, was there. We went to do the handover. So that is most of the jobs the corporate does. Community liaison is so many things involved. Then we are the people who keeps the image of the company. Imagine a situation where everybody would want to talk. What happens? It will be a chaos. So we are the people who make sure that whatever problem that comes, we stand in on behalf of the management and other departments. So corporate really cuts on all the departments. Again, we have another issue. We help, even investigations mostly, we are there. Because we help whenever there's a problem. So we come in. I think most of these things I've already mentioned them, although I'll go them because they are there in the presentation. We have a responsibility as corporate, so this vulnerable, and we look at it that how do we help these people who really need help? So the corporate issues comes in. From the beginning of this mine in 1998, we have been doing that. We have built schools, we have done boreholes, we have now we sponsored some people last time. Now we have also started sponsoring the CBU students. All these are under corporate social responsibility. We help, and we are the intermediate. We talk to the, for example, the DC wants stones, simple things like stones. They want fuel. All these are done under corporate. We help. We talk to them. Or even if someone is being harassed, we are an open office, like our colleagues, Chinese employees. If you are harassed by a police, or you don't know what to say, just remain silent. Don't speak. Come to corporate. You have got human resources that can help you. We can come in and see what we can do. So we do a lot of things actually. We hand over things and other things that we do. So what I was explaining actually, to illustrate what I was explaining now, there are pictures. That picture, it is during when they were doing these offices here, the CCB offices where we are today. Corporate really, like I said, did a lot of job to talk to people, help relocate. We even built houses under corporate. They are in Fitanda. There's a place called Fitanda. Those are the houses we built for the people we removed here, because there could have been noise, but these houses were built. Then there's a clinic built by NFCA under corporate. Then there are churches at that place where we are talking about, Fitanda. There's a school. Then we do even donations, like inputs, farming inputs, like fertilizer. We have seeds. So, like as at 2018, that time, but we still have a very big figure. Even last year we are donating this. Or just gave us an example. Like by 2018, we donated the value of 467,000 to the farmers. These are people we gave these things. So it's corporate that does everything under corporate. So then that is a school. One classroom block that I was talking about, which we built last year, commissioned and given in Kalurushi. Again, that picture, I was handing over with my colleagues the pavers at Kalurushi General Hospital. We're handing over these pavers. All this is done under corporate. Then this is a borehole we did in Chambeshi and Kalurushi. We just have a sample of one. Then this is another classroom block that we did at Chiburuma Day Secondary School. That is our boss I was talking about. This is a school we are handing over last year. For lack of time and looking at what we have explained, for people to graft whatever we have said, this is where we end. We end here. This is our presentation. So now I'll ask if there's anybody with questions or suggestions. You are open to the suggestion.